All righty, we got a Daniel Jones injury update from Brian Daboll. He spoke to the media this morning, and he said he is optimistic that Daniel Jones could play this Sunday against the Buffalo Bills. I'm Marshall Green, host of Giants Now by Chat Sports, and let's get into it. Daniel Jones did leave the game, obviously, yesterday against the Miami Dolphins. In that fourth quarter, he got sacked from the blind side. Joshua Ezeudu got beat off the ball almost immediately and did not return. I do want to kind of rewind the clock, though, a little bit. I'm sure everyone's thought about it. I'm sure everyone already knows about it. Daniel Jones, when he spoke to the media yesterday, said he dealt with a similar issue like this back in 2021. Everybody knows Daniel Jones had a season-ending neck injury. It was a disc issue. Not a lot of information on it out there. That's what Jordan Ahn of ESPN said yesterday. So Jones is saying it's somewhat similar to that, which had him miss the entire rest of the season. I think it was 5 games to close out the year. And with Brian Daboll saying he's optimistic he could play this year, I thought it was interesting because if you go back to 2021, Daniel Jones hurt his neck, and then he practiced, and then he was out for the rest of the season. So I'm not going to buy into that Daniel Jones is all good and golden and he's going to play because he practiced or he's supposed to practice or Brian Daboll is optimistic. We've been down this road before. Jones has hurt his neck on a Sunday. He practiced that next week, and then he missed multiple weeks. Look, it's just a story of what can go wrong, has gone wrong so far for the New York Giants. Andrew Thomas has missed 4 of the first 5 games of the season. He hurt himself chasing down a blocked field goal after the Giants drove the ball down the throat of the Dallas Cowboys. Saquon Barkley, he hurts his ankle after a 21-point comeback in Week 2 against the Arizona Cardinals, just running out the clock. Now, late in the fourth quarter, Daniel Jones has a neck injury, which is never something to play about. Never something to play with unless you are 100% healthy, and now he is out. Andrew Thomas, over $100 million. Saquon Barkley, $11 million this year. Daniel Jones, we know what the money is for that. It's hard to win games in the National Football League when your top players are hurt. That's what the Giants are facing right now. We're going to talk about the game coming up in a second. Just wanted to get the injury news out first and foremost. I want you guys to get involved, though, early in the comment section. What is your one word to describe the Giants so far this season? You guys always crack me up in the comments section, and I could use a laugh this morning. So give me your one word to describe the Giants season so far, as they are 1-4 headed into the game against the Buffalo Bills. All righty. If it's not going to be Daniel Jones under center, it is going to be Tyrod Taylor, who came into the game late in the fourth quarter, replacing Daniel Jones, and he had 9 completions on 12 attempts. Like Jones, he was running all over the field. He was running for his life. And I'm not going to say he looked better than Daniel Jones, but he made a couple of throws that I thought he really hung in the pocket and delivered a strike. And I liked that about Daniel. I liked that about Tyrod Taylor. But at the end of the day, whether it's Taylor or whether it's Jones, this offensive line needs to be better. Neal allowed 6 pressures. Mark Glowinski allowed 5 pressures and 2 sacks. Jalen Mayfield, who was activated off of the practice squad, had 5 pressures allowed. Bredeson, 4 pressures and a sack. Matt Peart only played 19 snaps, and he had 4 pressures. McKethan had 2 pressures. Joshua Ezeudu, 2 pressures and a sack. He was the one who led up the sack when Daniel Jones got hurt. According to Pro Football Focus, this offensive line was responsible for 28 pressures and 4 sacks. I know Jones was sacked 6 times and Tyrod Taylor was sacked once. Pro Football Focus is only crediting the offensive line with 4 of those 7 sacks. Look, everyone wants to ask, what's wrong with the offensive line? Is it Joe Schoen? Did he not get enough players? Is it Brian Daboll? Is it Mike Kafka? Is it Bobby Johnson? Is it Daniel Jones? Every single person that is a part of this organization is to blame for the offensive line. Every single person. Let's start with the man up top that is deciding who is on this roster. Joe Schoen. He made 1 addition this offseason to the New York Giants offensive line. And I love that single addition. I love that John Michael Schmitz is going to be the center for the foreseeable future for this franchise. But the Giants got their teeth kicked in last year against the Philadelphia Eagles in Week 18, as well in the divisional round. How much so? They allowed 30 pressures in 2 ball games, one of those being a playoff game. And all Joe Schoen did was go and draft a rookie second-round center. He let Nick Gates walk. He let John Feliciano walk. Both those guys were starters for this team for some part of the year last year. What about Bobby Johnson, the offensive line coach for the New York Giants? He's to blame as well. He has 4 top 67 picks on this offensive line. Andrew Thomas, top 5. Evan Neal, top 10. Joshua Ezeudu, 67 overall. And then you had John Michael Schmitz selected in the second round. That's 4 players that you spent premium draft capital on. They aren't all busts. Maybe they are. But at the end of the day, if you're the offensive line coach and you are gifted that type of talent and potential, you need to find a way to literally not be the last ranked offensive line in the NFL. The Giants have given up 30 sacks this season, the most in the NFL. Look, I'm not sure how you fix this offensive line. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not sure how you do it. The only way is you get Andrew Thomas back and you get John Michael Schmitz back. Because I don't want to see Jalen Mayfield playing offensive line for this team. I don't want to see Joshua Ezeudu playing left tackle. Seems like a nice hard worker. Seems like got potential. Seems like a good kid. He's been extremely upset in the locker room, according to the media, after the last 2 games. I feel bad for him. He's not a left tackle. He's a left guard. I don't know how you fix it except get healthy. I mean, I guess Justin Pugh is going to be the guy that's just going to be charged with fixing this offensive line. He'll be back this week on the Giants, or back is the wrong way to say it. He will be on the Giants this week, going to be elevated off the practice squad. Giants have a lot of injuries on the offensive line. We told you about Andrew Thomas. We told you about John Michael Schmitz. Marcus McKethan's now dealing with a little something. Shane Lemieux continues to deal with a little something. They're nicked up right now, and it's definitely holding them back from reaching their potential, but something's got to give. Something's got to shake. They got to do something different on that front. We're going to talk more about Saquon, Barkley, Andrew Thomas, when they may be back. Brian Daboll spoke to the media, as well as we're going to talk about some winners and losers I had for the Giants yesterday against Miami. But I want to first tell you guys about our proud sponsor of today's show, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the promo code CLNS, and they're going to match your initial deposit of up to $100. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. It's the best way to play daily fantasy sports, and all you have to do is play against Prize Picks, not against robots, not against sharks or anything. It's just you versus Prize Picks. They set a total for individual player stat lines, and you simply select more or you simply select less. With Aaron Jones potentially out tonight, I'm going to go with the more on A.J. Dillon. Rushing yards, I think the Packers are also going to win this game pretty favorably. I think they're going to dominate the ground game, not allow Josh Jacobs to get loose, and I expect them to be a heavy run offense tonight. So I'm going with less on Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love. You can make your own picks over at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Just remember to use the promo code CLNS to get that deposit bonus where they match your initial deposit up to $100. All righty, let's close the show with some injury news. Everyone is wondering when Saquon Barkley is going to be back. Well, Brian Daboll, when speaking to the media today, said he is still TBD, but he is getting closer, and he gave a smart alecky response. He's closer this week than he was last week. Yeah, no shit, Brian Daboll. You had him as doubtful 2 weeks ago. He was questionable this week. I don't know how much your offense is going to change with Saquon Barkley out there, but it'd be nice to have your top 2 guys, him including Andrew Thomas, out there, who Daboll said Barkley is closer than Thomas. I'm not expecting Andrew Thomas to play for a couple more weeks. Look, man, he went and practiced on a Thursday, did not practice on a Friday, and the next 2 weeks he hasn't even practiced. I'm not sure if he has suffered a setback. Some reporters are saying he has. Some reporters are saying he hasn't. Well, doesn't sound good. Hasn't played since week 1. Azeez Ojulari, this kind of came up after the game. He left the game with an ankle injury, and Brian Daboll said we will know more Wednesday about Azeez, who right now can't fight the injury bug. It's always something with him. Injured players stay hurt. It sucks, but it's just the facts. Hurt players stay hurt. And it sucks for Giants fans. It sucks for this organization because he was a second-round pick who has showed a lot of promise when he's on the field. Just hasn't done enough of actually playing football so far. Daboll was also asked about rookie center John Michael Schmitz and second-year inside linebacker Micah McFadden. He said this is too early to tell with JMS and McFadden. I also don't think that John Michael Schmitz is going to play this week. McFadden hurt his ankle last week in practice. I bet he's a little bit closer, but I would hold your horses on JMS playing this week. Let's close the show looking at some Pro Football Focus grades for this game. against the Miami Dolphins. Let's start with the defense here. The highest graded player, which is actually good news, is Cordell Flott. He played 27 snaps yesterday on defense, primarily in the slot position. And PFF gave him a 90 overall grade, 81 tackling grade, and 90.5 coverage grade. Former third-round pick out of LSU. You're always good to see that. Dexter Lawrence graded out at 79.8. He's always going to be good. Jason Pinnock, I thought, really stood out. I know everyone's hype about the 100-yard pick six, and that was a great play, no doubt about it. But I just liked the way he flew all over the field. Had a forced fumble that popped out of bounds as well. Deonte Banks played well. Again, he's been solid for a rookie so far this year. And then he had Leonard Williams and Jihad Ward, both graded out at 64 and 63, with Bobby Okereke at 60. On the offensive side of the ball, Daniel Jones got the highest grade for the New York Giants, grading it at 87.1. Then it was Darren Waller at a 74.6. You know, I really wish they could have hooked up and connected on that touchdown pass. Jones dropped an absolute dime, and two things can be true. Darren Waller should have caught that pass, which he 100% absolutely should, but also Xavier Howard made a really good play on it. And it could be a pass breakup. It could be a drop. Whatever you want to call it. It was good on good, and unfortunately the Giants did not come out on top in that matchup. Something that sticks out to me is Paris Campbell played in just 16 snaps, and that primarily came once Wan'Dale Robinson left with concussion symptoms, which he since has been cleared as. Matt Breida, 43 total touches. I'm still watching him get an inside zone handoff on 2nd and long. Absolutely disgusting offensive production yesterday. And you see the offensive line grades there. If you don't, they're at the bottom of the screen where the red is next to 25.9 and 27.9. At the end of the day, this team's just not a good football team right now. They might just be the worst team in the National Football League. ESPN, put out their power rankings today, and they, in fact, have them ranked as the worst team in the NFL right now. So that's what we got. That's what we got on today's show. Giants ranked 32nd in the power rankings right now. If we get any more news or updates on Barkley, on Daniel Jones, on anybody, we're going to get you guys that as soon as possible. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Let's go Big Blue.